Hey kiddos, what we're going to do real quick is we're going to just check our work in our text structure. We do one. All right, so here's the first one. Remember, I am a good reader, so I read the task card first. We don't have text features on any of these this week, but I read what I've got, and I read looking for signal words. I look for any of those words that are in that anchor chart that we have that's on our Google Classroom. Okay, here we go. It says, as one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, very few people would argue that the Grand Canyon is a place of epic beauty. What happened to cause, oh, I'm hearing that word, cause, this beautiful, unique place to exist? There are 2 major causes of the Grand Canyon we see today. The first major cause, and I'm seeing this word first, so I'm going to have that there because I want to have this discussion. The first major cause is constant erosion by the Colorado River. This fast-moving river has continued to cut through layer upon layer of rock for millions of years. The second major cause, hearing that word again, and I'm also hearing a transition word in that. The second major cause is the uplift of the Colorado Plateau. The plateau has pushed upward 5,000 to 10,000 feet, while the Colorado River has carried away rock, resulting in the Grand Canyon. Okay, so I look at all of these signal words that we found in our passage. But I also saw this word first, and I also saw this word first, and I also saw this word second. Now, we have a tendency to, the moment we see first and second, we're like, oh, it's sequencing, a transition word. But look at all the other words I saw here. I saw cause 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Then I also saw this word here, resulting, which we know signals effect. Okay? So while, like I told you in our model that we did, sometimes I'm going to see transition words because that's just what good writers use. Doesn't always mean that it's going to be sequencing. You've got to look for those other signal words too. And because I'm seeing cause 1, 2, 3, 4 times and this word resulting, I'm leaning more towards cause and effect than I am sequencing. So let's check ourselves. What is the cause? What is the effect? Well, my passage says, let's pick a different color here. My passage says there are 2 major causes of the Grand Canyon we can see today. Then the author gives me the first cause and gives me the second cause. So that's the cause, okay, is the constant erosion by the river and the uplift of the Colorado Plateau. When we talk about effect, we know that the effect is the Grand Canyon. So these things right here in orange caused the Grand Canyon to be created, okay? So yes, you could also argue that the author is putting the steps in order of how the Grand Canyon was made. I can almost see that, but more here the author wanted me to understand the causes of the Grand Canyon, how the Grand Canyon was made, the 2 causes that resulted in, that created the effect of the Grand Canyon. Okay, so let's look at our options here. A, the author wrote about the causes of the creation of the Grand Canyon. I like that word cause. I'm not going to circle it right away. I'm going to check myself. The author discussed the problems nature can have on the Grand Canyon. I didn't really hear anything about problems. The author compared how the Colorado River and the Colorado Plateau are the same. No. And when I know something automatically is not right, I'm going to eliminate it, kiddos. I'm going to get it out of my purview. I don't want to look at it anymore. The author put the events of how the Grand Canyon was formed in order. Okay. So I can see why we narrow down to A and why we narrow down to D. But the best choice here is going to be A, like for all the reasons that we just had the discussion in over here. So right here where it says, what clues justify your answer? Remember, I said I want that word for word. Look at this sentence I underlined in orange. There are 2 major causes of the Grand Canyon we see today. Boom, right here, that's what I'm typing. There are 2 major causes of the Grand Canyon we see today. That helps support this idea right here in A, that the author wrote about the causes of the creation of the Grand Canyon. Okay? All right, let's check number 2. Okay. Again, step 1, read it. The first metal 2-wheel machine appeared in 1865. And oh, you're noticing I've read this to you, right? I saw this word first. I see 1870. I see 1879. I see first again. I see this word after. And guys, even though this is not a date, that's still a good signal word because it's telling me like an event. And I know I could look up when World War I happened. Okay. And it's giving me a good time. And then today, that's a signal word too. So look at all of these dates and these transition words that I'm looking at in this passage. 1865, 1870, 1879, 1960s, 1970s, today, after World War I, which ended in 1945. I'm seeing first, I'm seeing after. All of these words are helping me understand that this passage, the author chose sequencing. But I need to ask myself the question, what is the author sequencing? Well, like the history of bicycles, right? It talked about all the way what a bicycle looked like in 1865, all the way, boom, down here. Today, bicycles of all shapes and sizes are ridden every day. Okay, so now that I have a good idea of what this author is sequencing, I'm going to look at my options. The author listed the causes of the bicycle being created. No, I saw 0 signal words for cause and effect. The author offered a solution to the problems of the early bicycles had. Okay, I mean, it did kind of talk about how some of them were not very good, like the ones made of wood, but I didn't really see any signal words for that. The author compared the many different ways bicycles have been built. Okay, I can see where you would kind of pick that one because it's talking about all the different types of bicycles. But listen, kiddos, I never saw a signal word for comparison. And what I did see overwhelmingly were all of these dates, which tells me that it is D, that the author put the events of how bicycles have changed in order. Okay, so now I need to justify my answer with word for word evidence. And listen, kiddos, your sentence is not going to look like mine. Look at all the sentences you could have picked. There's several through here. I'm just going to pick one that gives me a date or a transition word, and I'm going to write it word for word. The first metal bike dates back to 1870. We're at this sentence right here. The first metal bike dates back to 1870 and was also the first pedaled machine referred to as the bicycle. See, word for word right through here. Okay, kiddos, great job on your we-dos today. This was our goal. Remember, we are working toward being able to identify the structure of an informational text and justify our answer with evidence. That's what we did today. We're getting closer to being able to have mastery over this every single day. I'm proud of you guys for working hard. And then I need you to go work on your exit ticket for me. It's going to be called Text Structure Exit Ticket 1. Please leave me any comments if you have any questions or any concerns. Thanks, kiddos.